Thank you for watching this episode of Cake. Today I won't be making a cake, but I'll be making a gingerbread house, and I'll be making it look more like a cottage log cabin, and I think it looks adorable. For this gingerbread house, I actually bought the pre-made pieces from Bulk Barn, which is my local bulk food store. You can also buy them fully made so that if you have kids, it's much easier and you don't have to do all that waiting time. I like to buy it separate so that I can make all the pieces and then put them together. It's much easier that way. I have no patience to actually make the gingerbread on my own because, to be honest, I don't really eat it. It just sits there for decoration anyway, so why bother? I started making this house by decorating the walls and the front and the back of the house first before putting this house together. It's much easier to decorate looking down rather than trying to decorate the house on the side when it's already done. If you do have kids though, it might be easier for them visually if they already have the house prepared. So do whatever is easier for you. First, I made a door in red fondant to match the size that was indented in the gingerbread house already. I used a little plastic mold with lines on it to create a bit of a design on the door. I then made a small little black doorknob with fondant. I made windows in light yellow, again matching the size that's already indented on the gingerbread house, and made 8 windows to go all around the house. I wanted it to look like the lights were on inside the house, so I chose light yellow. I then used my fondant extruder to help me make thin black lines to create the borders on the windows and the little cross between the windows. I cut them to size and stuck them on with a little bit of piping gel. To make the coolest part of the house, I used thin, straight pretzels that I got from Bulk Barn. I put on all the sticks horizontally and then just lined them all the way up, cutting them to size to fit within each wall and in between the windows, and then gluing them on with royal icing. It's better to put the royal icing on a little bit at a time or it'll harden on you before you even get to it. Do that with all 4 walls and let it harden for about an hour. This will definitely take some time, so put on a movie or something while you do this. When your walls are ready and cooled, I stuck them to a board large enough to put other items around the house and glued the walls to the board and each other with some thick royal icing. Make sure to glue the side walls to the inside ledge of the front of the house, just to maintain the integrity of the structure and also so both sides look the same. Make sure to ice the bottom part that will stick to the board as well. I use some spice bottles here, but you can also use some cans or anything that will help hold up the sides of the wall to make sure that it doesn't cave in. Let this dry overnight or at least for about 4 hours so that it completely hardens. I stuck the mini wreath frosting side up to the roof with royal icing and let it harden for an hour. When you're making your gingerbread house, go to your local bulk food store and your grocery store and just see what options they have and what you could do with it. There are so many different ways that you can make fences or trees or the roof of your house or the bricks of your house. There's so many different things you could do. And when I went to the grocery store and I saw frosted mini wreaths, I thought it was genius to actually use those for the roof of the house because it already looks like it was snowing. And it did look so cute and I love it. While you're waiting for your walls and roof to harden, I started working on my little details to go all around the house. I started by making a little wreath to go onto the front of the house. You could make a clock instead, or a house number, or a light, whatever you wish. I made a wreath by rolling out some green fondant into a tube and sticking the ends together with some piping gel. I put piping gel all around it and then coated it with some green edible sparkles. I then had some little red chocolate chips and put those on top. I decided to make a little door out of pretzel sticks too. I made the 6 different sizes and just glued them together with some royal icing. I left some sticks to the side so that I could make a fence for later. I made a cute little snowman to sit outside of the house. I rolled out 3 tiny balls of white fondant for the snowman's body and a tiny orange carrot nose. I used an edible marker for his eyes, mouth, and buttons. Then I stuck on a little blue scarf made of fondant. Now it's time to stick the roof onto the house. I used royal icing to stick on one side at a time. I used the other one as a guide to make sure that it would fit correctly. Hold it for about a minute and make sure that it sticks. It might slide around for a little bit if the icing is too runny. Glue on both sides and hold it again for another minute. Let it dry again for another hour. There's so much waiting time involved when making a gingerbread house. I find making gingerbread houses so calming and relaxing. I love just putting on a movie, sitting down with a cup of coffee, and making my gingerbread house and decorating my heart out. It's such a great thing to do alone, but I also love to do it with my family and friends. So if you have kids, if you have nieces and nephews, get everyone together. It's a great family activity. Start decorating, get them to be a little bit more creative, and it's a great break from all the holiday festivities and the parties and the shopping and all the stress that comes with it. It's just nice, calming, and relaxing, and I love it. Again, while I was waiting, I made a cute little chimney with fondant and then covered that chimney in little chocolate rocks that I found at Bulk Barn. Don't glue this onto your roof until it's fully dried. I then took chocolate coffee sticks and used them as pillars to go in between the walls to cover up all the ugly royal icing parts that we had before, and used one for the top of the roof as well. I then took my royal icing and made little icicles around the house using a piping bag and a small round tip. You'll need to make sure that your icing is pretty thick for this by adding more icing sugar, otherwise it will just fall right off the house. Mine was slightly too thin, but it worked out fine. While it was still wet, I put on colored chocolate chips to make them look like Christmas lights. I also glued the wreath to the top of the house. I then made a path in front of the house using the same chocolate rocks I used for the chimney to make everything match a little bit. I made a cute little evergreen tree with an ice cream waffle cone turned upside down, and then used some green royal icing with a star tip and piping bag to make the leaves. For the snow on the floor, I used royal icing to cover the bottom and then began putting my decorations on top. I made bushes again the same way as the trees and used the chocolate sticks to make little logs. I am so ready for the holidays. I got my snowman earrings, I got my holiday sweater, I got my haircut, and I am going to Disney World this holiday, so I'm so super excited. I dusted everything with a little bit of icing sugar to make it look like it snowed, and added a little bit of sparkles as well. I even added a little bit of royal icing to the roof to make it look like snow was coming off the roof. I glued the little gate and fence right onto the front of the board. And last but not least, I used some white cotton candy on top of the chimney to make it look like smoke. Make sure to only put the cotton candy on when you're ready to put this on display, because it will end up melting off. I think this gingerbread house turned out so adorable. I would love to just go inside and cozy up by the fireplace with some hot chocolate inside it, as long as the fireplace doesn't burn down that house, but whatever. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you like this gingerbread house, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't seen my videos from last week, please click here to watch it. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel right over here. Thanks for watching, guys, and happy holidays. Bye!